Guys, what is up? Public here, back with another video, and today I want to do kind of a quick one talking about your meta gem and just gemming as a Shadow Priest for Season 1 of The War Within, so let's dive in and talk about it. Alright, so within The War Within, they brought back these meta gems that we've had in the past that give primary stat and then some other effect. As a Shadow Priest, there are two that we primarily care about. First off is the Culminating Blasphemite, which is primary stat, and critical effect, which basically just makes your critical strikes hit harder, be more powerful. And then we also have the Elusive Blasphemite, which gives the same amount of primary stat, but instead gives movement speed. Now the key for both of these is the actual secondary effect there, so the movement speed or the critical strike effect gets better per unique gem color that you have slotted. It doesn't actually count the Blasphemite itself, but if we think about all the different colors of gems, you have Emerald, Ruby, Onyx, Sapphire, and Amber, which means that you can stack those bonuses up to 5 times. So the 0.15% critical strike effect, you can get that 5 times, and the 2% movement speed, you can get 5 times. This is quite important to kind of call out this distinction, just because the actual damage benefit from Culminating Blasphemite is so minor. First of all, Shadow Priest as a spec does not really stack crit, so we're not actually critting that often. We're not getting a whole lot of value from the critical effect just because of that. We're not getting extra rating from this or anything like that. So especially early on, you're going to struggle to see a whole lot of value from this guy. And more importantly, even when you're fully stacked out with gems, this is only a 0.3% DPS increase. This is incredibly minor, very small. This is, I mean, the gap between like playing a different racial is more than this sometimes. So it's quite minor and not something that I would really fret about. Obviously, the main stat is quite important, but that effect itself is just not that valuable. And the reason why I bring that up is the alternative choice of Elusive Blasphemite giving 2% movement speed per gem color is very significant. So this, as a Shadow Priest, we're struggling with mobility, but when you're wearing the Elusive Blasphemite, you can get up to 10% additional movement speed, which is a just massive increase to our mobility on the spec, and we just get that all the time. So this is something I would strongly consider if you're playing Shadow. I would definitely suggest starting out with Elusive Blasphemite. In my head, this is just far and beyond better from whatever DPS increase Culminating gets you. This movement speed is just really great, especially because you just get it active all the time. It can make it easier to dodge stuff. You're spending less time moving from point A to point B, that kind of stuff. Now, unfortunately, the Elusive Blasphemite right now, as it stands on live servers, does not stack with like temporary movement speed effects. So things like Angelic Feather, Body and Soul, Stampeding Roar, it won't stack with those things. It's a little counterintuitive. It's not actually giving you the speed stat. It's pretty much just adding a movement speed effect to your character. So you can see right now I'm at 111%, and I think I have full gems fully stacked on this guy. So this is without any speed on my gear or anything, so it's not going to show that you have extra speed by any means, but you will see that in just kind of your base movement speed before that's calculated. Now, unfortunately, what that means is things like Body and Soul are just being added without that. So you can see I went from 111% with without Body and Soul up to 141%. Well, Body and Soul normally gives 40%. You can see it's just adding that on top and then munching whatever the gem is giving you. So what this means is it's kind of diminishing the value of those spells, basically, like Feather, Body and Soul, Roar, are just giving you less movement speed increase from what you had before. If this gets fixed, it'd be awesome. I'm not sure if this is considered a bug or what was intended here, but just note that it's just increasing your like base movement speed when you're not getting any bonuses. Now, as far as how you min-max this, you do have a couple options. In the Icy Veins guide, which I'm showing here, I give a couple different kind of build paths here, depending on what you're looking for. And as a Shadow Priest, you do want to take advantage of these different gem colors so that you get the extra movement speed. Now, inside the War Within, you can give quite a lot of sockets on your gear. So in total, I think there's 9 this tier, including the meta gem. Now with this, it kind of depends on like your availability in terms of sockets. So there is a socket item called the Nerubian Gem Weaver that you get from the Great Vault when you don't actually pick an item. So you can get up to 1 of these per week, and these can be applied to a helm, bracer, or a belt item. And then for neck and ring items, you can just buy or craft the Magnificent Jeweler setting, and you can apply up to 2 sockets on a neck or a ring item. So even if you haven't gotten anything from the Great Vault yet, you can still have up to 2 sockets on your neck and then 2 on each of your rings for a total of 6. So you can get 6 right off the gate without doing anything else, which is enough to fully stack these gems. Now with this, I would generally suggest as a Shadow Priest, if you're indexing more towards raid, you do want to kind of lean towards mastery. I'll plan on doing another video at some point talking a little bit more about secondary stat optimization on your priest, but for now, kind of lean towards mastery in single target and then lean towards haste inside of Mythic Plus, or even in Mythic Plus you can try to keep them even if you want a more balanced setup. With that, I usually lean my character right now. I have way too much haste. Do not look at my stats and try to copy this. This is just the gear that I've gotten to drop. I'm not intentionally running this much haste. You really only want like 20%, and you really want to dump the rest of this into mastery. I just haven't gotten enough gear for that. So part of that, I'm really kind of using mastery gems and enchants wherever I can. So with that, I kind of list off the options here, but you usually want to stick with this list and go from here. I'll tell you this right now. Do not bother simming massive gem sims on raid bots. It's honestly just going to waste your time, and the impact and the difference between like swapping out different gems is so minor that you have to sit there and sim for way more iterations than is relevant to get anything that's considered like accurate. I would honestly not even worry about simming gems, like gem combinations on raid bots. Save them work, save yourself time, and just follow this as like a rough guideline. I promise you it's going to work out. Now with this, I give you a rough guideline of kind of how to go with this. So with your first couple sockets, you want to add your meta gem first, just for the primary stat. And again, would strongly suggest using Elusive Blasphemite. And then from there, go on to Masterful Emerald on your next gem, which is the Haste Mastery gem. And then you can go Quick Onyx, which is the Mastery Haste gem. And then from there, you kind of just have to, we covered the top 2 ones because Mastery and Haste are our best stats. And then you're going to just kind of pick the ones with either Master on the secondary or Haste on the secondary, depending on what stat you want more of. I usually go Masterful on all these guys, so it's the Crit Mastery gem and then the Verse Mastery gem. And then the last one, there is an optional gem that you can consider, which is the Amber gem. So the Amber gem gives stamina main, and then you get the extra secondary as well. From a DPS perspective, this is a slight loss, like a 0.1, 0.2%. So again, quite minor here, to go from like just a regular gem to Masterful Amber. The reason why you might want to run this, the stamina is extremely minor. Don't really worry about it, but it does give you an extra gem color for Elusive Blasphemite, right? So you go from 8% movement speed to 10% movement speed if you socket in the Amber. I was actually only running the 4 colors for most of my stuff, and we just killed Mythic Rashinon right before, or last night as I'm recording this video. And I really wanted that extra movement speed to get in between the sections of Rashinon and Raid, so I went ahead and socketed Amber instead of an extra Masterful Emerald, so or any of these guys, right? So Quick Onyx is also a good option too. So yeah, I mean, really kind of take this with what you think is best for your character. This is just kind of my rough guidelines for you and your gemming as a Shadow Priest. So hopefully this was helpful. I know early on info we were kind of ignoring Elusive Blasphemite, so kind of made this video just to showcase that it is quite strong and would suggest running it if you're not already. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.